Cursed objects seems to be something out of a fairy tale that suggests that objects can have paranormal or supernatural forces behind them. From demon-possessed dolls to cursed jewelry, there are plenty of creepy objects out there with dark histories behind them. Here, we'll talk about 5 of the most historically cursed objects from around the world. The Hope Diamond. The Hope Diamond, blue in color, is one of the most famous stones in the world. It's also said to be cursed due to the many tragedies that followed for the people who dared to have it in their possession, or even so much as to touch it. The diamond was first mined in India in the 1600s and eventually made its way into the possession of King Louis XIV, who had it cut into a 67-carat stone. It became known as the Blue Diamond of the Crown, but was stolen during the French Revolution after their attempt to flee France. In 1791, the location of the Blue Diamond was looted and the diamond was never found, at least for now. In 1813, the diamond made an appearance yet again in London. Although there was a lot of skepticism about whether or not it was the same rare diamond owned by King Louis, the chances of finding a diamond that was even slightly resembled the original was next to impossible. So it was concluded that it was most likely reshaped in order to hide its identity. So what exactly makes this diamond such a curse? The Hope Diamond has changed hands numerous times. In each of those times, the owner has faced tragedy. One owner had 2 of their children die, while others were beheaded. Along with a lot of crazy outcomes, there seems to be a pattern of extremely bad luck that follows this diamond. Today, you can find it on display at the Smithsonian Natural History Museum in Washington, D.C., which is probably for the best. The Dybbuk Box. This wine box is said to be haunted by Dybbuk, which is a spirit in Jewish folklore that is known for possessing people. The box was originally owned by a Holocaust survivor who claimed that the Dybbuk caused her family members to fall ill and die. The wine box was one of only 3 items that she brought with her when she immigrated over to the United States. She eventually gave the box away to someone she thought would be able to get rid of the Dybbuk for good, but it seems like the curse is still going strong. When she finally sold the box, she made a very clear warning that it needs to be kept closed at all times, but unfortunately, curiosity got the best of the man and he opened it anyway just to find a bunch of weird objects hidden inside, including a lock of someone's hair. He ended up gifting the box to his mom, who claimed that she could feel cold and pure evil coming from the box, which eventually led her to have a stroke. Shortly after, a man who accidentally knocked the box over ended up killing himself only a couple of years later. In 2003, Manus put the Dybbuk box up for sale on eBay, and it claimed with a note that warned potential buyers not to open it. But of course they did, and experienced weird phenomenon such as bleeding out of their eyes and even being choked. The box is currently in the museum, and the people who work with it still claim very odd and unsettling feelings associated with the box. You can still find Dybbuk boxes circulating around eBay today. Most of them are likely to be phony and just for novelty. However, you never know if another Dybbuk box might actually contain a hidden spirit inside. Anna Baker's wedding dress. This dress belonged to Anna Baker, an heiress from Pennsylvania who fell in love with a man from a lower social class and resulted in her being completely disowned by her father. Anna never got married or had any children, but when her dad died, she went to go visit the man she was supposed to marry, only to find out he ended up marrying somebody else. Anna took a mental turn afterwards and ended up being labeled as insane and extremely antisocial. She wore this dress every day until she died in 1914 at the age of 82. After her death, Baker's dress was put on display at her family's Iron Museum, which is fitting because her father refused to allow her marriage because he thought it would be, quote, as worthless as iron. Visitors to the museum have reported feeling uneasy while near the dress, and some say they've even seen it move on its own. There have been reports of the box holding the dress shaking violently, and the dress dancing around whenever it was a full moon, which is what Anna used to do when she was alive. Other strange events that have been noted are people seeing an old lady in the mirror in her old bedroom, and the music box used to dance to beginning to play all on its own. The Baker's house is now a historical museum, with most of the ruins being preserved. Although there are rumors that it's nothing but a story that was created to attract tourists to the town of Altoona, the stories of the people who have visited themselves tell another story. Robert the Doll. Back in the 1900s, Robert was a giant life-size doll dressed in a sailor outfit measuring around 3 feet tall that was manufactured by the Steiff Company. He belonged to a boy named Gene Otto, and at the time was staying in the attic of the Otto family's home and was outfitted with his own furniture, toys, and even has his own little teddy bear. There are a lot of different versions of the story about how he came about and how he became cursed, but most people believe that he was cursed by the boy's nanny. Apparently, the nanny didn't get along with the parents, so this was her sweet revenge on the family. The boy started treating this doll like a person, speaking to it and bringing it everywhere he went. It's pretty typical for a young child, but the creepy thing about it was that the parents could hear the doll responding, sometimes in a grisly voice. At other times, the doll was reportedly moving, changing facial expressions, and was even heard giggling. Due to this unexplained phenomenon, Robert the doll had been locked up because people are convinced the doll is home to a demon. Even taking a picture with it will land you with extremely bad luck, and has been reported that people experience incidents of car accidents, physical harm, divorces, job loss, and other misfortunes shortly after taking the photo. If you're ever in Key West, Florida, you can visit the Key West Museum of Arts and History to see Robert for yourself. Just be sure not to take a picture of it for your own safety. The Crying Boy painting. The Crying Boy belongs to a series of over 60 paintings. One of the boys painted was a young boy from Madrid in the 1960s who had just run away after seeing his parents die in a fire. Legend has it that a fire would break out anywhere that the boy would linger. Despite being warned multiple times to stay away from the boy, the painter decided to adopt him, and so began the series of paintings from the Crying Boy. The relationship didn't last long, because sure enough, his studio caught on fire, and he kicked the boy out and never saw him again. It sold over 50,000 copies in the UK and became popular in Britain in 1985 when firefighters noticed that houses with copies of the Crying Boy hanging on the walls were somehow immune to fire damage. After doing some investigating, they discovered that many of these paintings had actually been damaged by fires, but not before their owners had managed to save them, along with other valuables. It is hands down one of the most controversial pieces of art in recent history, and there are a lot of different theories about the painting. From urban legends and the cursed myth to media hysteria and the bid to sell more papers. But skeptics have other explanations. Thanks to its dark history, this painting is considered one of the most cursed objects in existence, so maybe don't hang it up in your house anytime soon if you come across one. These 5 creepy and cursed objects all come with dark histories, but if you're brave enough, you can see them for yourself. The Hope Diamond is on display at the Smithsonian Natural History Museum, while Anna Baker's wedding dress can be seen at her family iron museum. As for Robert the doll, head down to Key West Museum of Arts and History. Just don't take a picture. And if you're feeling rather daring, try and track down a copy of the Crying Boy painting. Just don't say we didn't warn you. Thanks for watching our late night top 5 video. We're a new channel and would love to have your support by subscribing, liking, or simply dropping a comment down below. To watch more interesting late night videos, click the links to continue watching more.